What up, guys? We are here today to try an experimental type of video, sort of like a podcast, basically. I'm here with my friend Chuku.
Hi, my name is Chuku.
And we're basically going to talk about things related to reflecting, and just like reflecting on the past month, reflecting about things that we've accomplished, our favorite days, events, and just certain things that maybe we want to change to improve ourselves all around. And I guess in some ways it's like a friends just catching up type of podcast. But for now, I'm not going to call it a podcast just because I'm not sure I want to, like, this is an experiment. I'm not entirely sure if I, will like this, but we'll find out. We'll find out. So, Chuku, how was March for you? How was last month for you?
Well, this has been very, very, very interesting because it kind of starts with February, right? Because what happened to me in February, and funny enough, it started on my birthday, which is another joke because literally me and him talked the day before my birthday. So it's like, on one hand, me and him were having this fun conversation and whatever, and then the next day my birthday happens. But long story short, basically, I started getting like a bunch of chest pains, and I started having like a strong fatigue, which the doctors diagnosed it as like, for the fatigue was a vitamin D deficiency, and then for the chest pains they said I had acid reflux. So I adopted that, and it was really it was crazy during February.
Oh, so you also got acid reflux?
Yeah,
like stomach acid reflux, or
it's weird because it's like the way it sounded, like it seemed like it was an issue with my stomach, but it was more chest that I felt the pain was in, because it was like my chest was really the thing that was hurting. And the doctors, I guess their reasoning for why they diagnosed this acid reflux is because they thought that it's possible that I got a lot of food in my what's it called, esophagus? That's
esophagus?
The word. Esophagus, yeah. And what happens when you get too much food in your esophagus, the acid, because the whole point is whenever you have food, your stomach acid wants to like just burn it down to digest. The problem was that it was starting to flip up to like almost where my neck area. So because of that, the side effects of that was that my chest was feeling more pain.
Were you feeling chest pains like almost every day, or like?
Yes, literally every day. Jeez. Almost every moment.
Yeah, because you messaged the group. Like, if you guys don't know, I have another team channel called Imagine Blue, and it's us talking about like our favorite shows and animes and movies. But basically, you couldn't really, you had to take a break in March mainly because of this. But I didn't know it was this bad. I thought like I thought you were talking about just heart palpitations and stuff like that.
I thought it would. See, when they first told me, I first thought it was heart palpitations, but apparently, and I had to go through like 3 doctors. This is in February. I'm not talking about March. So I had to go through 3 doctors, and then one doctor said it was just normal chest pains. The other one thought it was palpitations, and then the other one said no, it's acid reflux. And I was confused because with acid reflux, there's so many different variations. Yeah. So it wasn't really clear, but it made more sense because a lot of, like, for example, he told me, like, do you notice that you feel more pain when you lay down more as opposed to keeping your body up? And I said yes. And I noticed that even when I left the doctor or left the doctor's office, when I was keeping my body up, I felt a little bit much better. So in that case, that's why I assumed it is acid reflux, and I've been taking medicine and it's been recovering. But basically, I guess going to how this plays with March is basically my recovery recovery month of me dealing with it, eating certain foods. Like I couldn't eat any fried or spicy, oily food, which sucks because like I love pizza, I love burgers, I love fries, but pizza. I can't eat that, or even certain Nigerian foods. So it's there's stuff I couldn't eat, or even drink like orange juice, because orange juice has a lot of acidic stuff. So it's like I had to avoid certain foods to eat. I had to make sure that if I did eat before I go to sleep, there was like a 3-hour gap. So I had to make sure I timed my bedtime stuff, schedule stuff. During the month of March, or at least before March and February, because the chest was so bad, I couldn't work, and it hindered my work performance to the point where my boss and I decided it's best for me to just get out of work and let go. So I was let go during March, which was not fun at all.
Yeah, I didn't even know that, dude. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, I'm just
like something that affects you that much to the point where you cannot work.
Yeah,
and you get fired. That's like, whoa, that
yeah.
really sucks.
Yeah, it was yeah, there was, again, and it all happened on my birthday, so it made me turning 27 like a curse. So far, it's been kind of a curse being 27, because it's like I've just been limited.
It's like oh, between like before 26, you're fine, totally healthy, and then 27, nope, you're too old now.
Yeah,
boom,
exactly.
Smacks you with all this illness.
Exactly. And like it's just been I guess, I mean, February, I can go into February where it was worse, but as far as March comes, because March was more of a recovery, productiveness. So
I mean, do you feel better now compared to before?
I feel way much better, because like before, I wouldn't be able to have this podcast, because I'd feel like I'd feel so tired and weak after speaking that I would just want to be like, yo, I need to take a break. But now I'm able to really express myself. And I noticed that the more I'm able to do something that I love, the more I'm able to ignore the pain or not deal with the pain as much. So yeah.
Well, I hope you reach a full recovery soon.
Yeah, that's the end goal for sure.
But by the way, I don't really like pizza that much anymore. Just saying.
Oh no, man.
When you said it, like, oh, you're not missing out, man. You're just missing out on like grease and things that make you feel terrible.
Well, it's not even just
I ate leftover pizza like I ate leftover pizza 2 weeks ago, and I got a stomach ache from it.
Oh,
and I like never get stomach aches. I can't remember the last time I got a stomach ache.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, but for me, it's not even just that. It's like I love ribs, so I can't even eat ribs, or like, you know, like wings and all that stuff. So it's like there's
yeah. The other stuff makes sense. The other stuff makes sense. I'm just saying that pizza stuff, you know.
The pizza. Okay.
I know I'm probably like very, very weird for saying that. Like, I'm sure everyone will disagree with me, but pizza is not that great.
It's not that great. Interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my
For you.
That's fair. That's interesting. What caused you to not like pizza? I'm now curious about this.
Too many Domino's when we were in college, I guess.
Okay. So you never had like the Pieology or like the Blaze pizza kind of stuff?
I've had it. Of course, those are better, but like, you know, yeah, I don't know. Boxed pizza that you get and bring back home.
Yeah. Fair. I've got tired of that. I mean, when I was eating pizza, I haven't eaten that in like years, but Pieology and Blaze, that was like every other week I would get one of those. So yeah, that was my thing. But
I mean, on my side of things, in terms of events, luckily for me personally, I don't really have too many health related events, but March was a month where like I hung out with like people I didn't expect to hang out. Like, for instance, my cousin had a baby shower.
Ooh.
And I mean, I knew she was pregnant, but like I wasn't expecting to go to a baby shower. I don't think I've actually ever been to a baby shower.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's essentially just like any other event where you're with family and you just celebrate the fact that she's going to give birth soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, how was it with the baby shower? Was it really just that to it, or was there more?
Yeah, I mean, I played pool a lot. There was this lady there that was really good at pool. And she was kind of frightening to me, actually. I was taught by my dad when I was younger, before the divorce happened and everything. So for me, pool is something I really like playing. And then there was a pool table there. It was a baby shower at a tattoo shop.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
And the pool table there was fine. It wasn't like the best, but it was playable. So most of the time I was just playing pool. I was trying to get my little half sister to play with me, but she didn't really want to. Can't really force a kid to do something they don't want to. But
that's fair.
It was fun catching up with her. I don't really see my younger sister very often.
Okay.
But I also played pool with pretty much everyone there, like that was around my age, I guess. And most of the time I won. I only lost one game. So then that lady like challenged me, right? And then I ended up winning, but like I was just so scared while playing her because she was just hit like in very, very like, I don't know how to describe it. It was very exaggerated movements. And then she would always chalk and stuff like that. And then my dad was there too, so he was like, they were noticing I never chalk. Obviously, I'm not like a professional or anything, but like I'm still able to hit the ball in just because, you know, I have decent aim basically.
Yeah.
But it was funny whenever I was playing someone else, she would always like try to get me to miss. So, but yeah, I can't remember the last time I've been like scared of a stranger. I mean, like I wasn't scared of her, but it was just like, oh gosh, her energy level was so high compared to mine. where like I'm kind of mellow, you know. I'm not like, I mean, when it comes to playing board games, I get crazy, but like otherwise, for me, I tend to stay at a very calm level. So when I was around her, I would slightly get a little bit frightened in terms of like, because it was very interesting. It was a very fun experience.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like you met that, like your challenge right there. Like you met that little like, it's like the anime where it's like you're the calm, quiet character, and then you see this like the protagonist is going up, and you're like, oh, I'm starting sweating now.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever experienced that where like someone's just so at a different energy level than you, or like so energetic that it's kind of overwhelming? I don't know.
You know, I hate to be cocky, but it's usually me that usually puts that in people, especially like if I go out in the clubs. So like if I'm going out dancing,
for sure.
And like, you know, meeting people, it gets to the point where I start dancing really hard to the point where people are just like, they get intimidated, like, oh, I don't want to dance anymore. This guy's just too good. It's just like, whoa. And I'm like, yo, man.
All right. For sure.
So that's the thing. But if I would say an experience where someone was really good and I just kind of, you know, go quiet after, or like it makes me a little intimidated just to be around them. I would say the last time I've seen that would be, I think the last time was video games when I was playing. I think it was at your, one of my birthday things? One of your birthdays, because Smash Brothers, it seems like everyone's just better at me at Smash Brothers. So I'm just like, oh. So yeah, it made me a little bit like...
Yeah, some people just love playing and get real good.
Yeah. So I think
I don't own the game, so I'm not one of them. So
yeah.
But yeah, other than that event, there are just a lot of different ones, like friends hang out at friends' places when I usually don't. There's like 2 movie nights. There's one movie that I watched, The Autopsy of Jane Doe. It's like a horror movie. After watching it, I just couldn't sleep. And then
really, it was that scary.
I'm terrible with horror movies. Okay. Like the reason we watched it was because I haven't watched one in over like maybe 3, 4, or 5 years. And I'm like, okay, let's try it. Like maybe I won't be scared. And then nope, I went back home totally scared, totally frightened, couldn't sleep.
Interesting.
Slept at like 5 a.m. Woke up at like 9, and then I went to something called like the Natural Expo or something. It was a very interesting experience as well, because my cousin works for like a nutrition company, and she had a booth there, so I managed to get in because, you know, we're family. And basically we went there. There's a lot of food places. We went there at the last day. A lot of food places just give away stuff for free, like free samples.
Oh man,
it's like showcasing products that like they want to put on the market. And then I just kept getting free samples. It was kind of weird. It was like I was looting the place almost. Like obviously I wasn't looting. People were giving away free samples, but it felt like looting, dude. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna take this. It's like this whole package of like drinks. I'm like, okay.
That's good. So you still have stuff left over?
No, it's already been like a full month, and I didn't really get too much. We sort of split it between my cousins, and I didn't, honestly, I don't really care for like that kind of stuff. Like,
interesting.
I tend to I'm very minimalistic when it comes to food. I just eat. But yeah, I started intermittent fasting, like being strict with it. So like eating after 12 p.m. and then eating before 8 p.m. Or so like you can only eat during that 8-hour time window of 12 to 8. Okay. And then from there, you just don't eat. And for me, that's basically just, I eat 2 meals and that's it.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was about to ask about that. That's interesting.
But it's made me feel like pretty darn good. Like I can feel the difference, especially in the mornings. I feel like a lot more focused.
Really?
Yeah. Back then I would eat like maybe at 10 or 9, and then I just sometimes lose focus after eating.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I get really affected by carbs. I'm like, I get sleepy afterwards.
Okay, yeah. I'm curious though. So with intermittent fasting, do you guys drink more? Is that like the balance of it, or you guys don't even drink that much?
I mean, I don't know about you guys, as in like other people, but for me, I try to drink as much water to keep hydrated as possible. I've not been as good with it. I've not been as good with it as of late, but yeah, it's usually I just drink whenever I feel really thirsty.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not I feel like a lot of people already do that type of intermittent fasting, you know what I mean? Just eat after 12 and eat before 8.
Yeah, I would agree. Like even nowadays, like I wake up a little bit because I try to make sure I get 10 hours of sleep. So I wake up almost around 11. And then like even when I eat, it's like by that time it's almost 12. So it's like, yeah, I don't really eat as much. And now because of the whole acid reflux, I've been basically on a diet. So it's like,
gotcha.
Yeah, which is why when I heard about the whole natural expo, I'm like, I mean, that would have been nice for me to be there just because I would be any type of natural stuff is like, oh, that's
I mean, it's just like, they market it as organic and whatnot. Some of the stuff that I ate, oh my God, did not taste that great. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm going to tell you straight up. It's like, I don't know what they put in there and why they expect it to go on the market, but no way that like bad tasting stuff is going to go in the market.
That's true. But I think it's like for those people who are organic, it's more about the benefits. So it's like they've sacrificed taste for health benefits, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I feel you because like
I ain't one of those people, unfortunately.
What was your favorite thing you taste there? At least there's got to be something you like.
Oh, that's a tough one. Favorite thing I ate there? I'm not sure actually. Oh, it was like a cookie.
A cookie, yeah.
It was like a dessert cookie.
Really?
Like very, very sugary.
Interesting.
Or at least it tasted sugary.
Yeah, it could be fake tasting stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, so I guess those were just 2 updates. But in terms of accomplishments, like, are there any things that you feel you've accomplished last month that, you know, you want to share?
Okay, so funny enough, I feel like I accomplished a lot, or at least from my point of view, given that what I was given.
So what are some of the bigger ones, I guess?
Okay, so the first one has to do with screenwriting, because for a while I've not been able to write stories just because I've been busy, but because of what happened recently to me, I've been able to be more focused on like, you know, like this is like, I want to write stories. I've got more of a motivation, and I was able to finish one of a pilot or a story I had, a TV show pilot that I always wanted to do.
Nice.
And I was able to, well, I finished it before, but I was able to rewrite it and finish it and upgrade it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the process of rereading it and whatnot, but I was able to do that. So that was like the biggest.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
Yeah.
Are we gonna shoot it?
Maybe. We'll see. We got to get the casting and everything ready. So we'll see. So there was that, as well as I came up with multiple ideas, because that's also that came in. So I came with like 3 new ideas that I want to play around with stories. So yeah, that's one big accomplishment for me. The other one for me was like, and this is something that I've always, ever since I went to college, I kind of been into the whole idea of like, you know, going out, you know, meeting girls and trying to see if you can pull a chick or something like that. So I was able to accomplish that this, surprisingly enough, March as well.
Wait, so you're saying like you went on a date? Is that what you're saying?
Wouldn't say a date necessarily. I'd say it was more of like, you know, I met a girl, she was having fun, she was flirting with me, and I was like, let's go to the car and let's see if we can do some things. So
okay.
Yeah, I was able to accomplish that,
Juku.
which was crazy for me because with the acid reflux, I'm not allowed to drink alcohol. So it was really hard going out to not drink, but it also, I guess, it boosted my confidence because I was thinking to myself like, well, if I can't do all this stuff, I'm just gonna have to own it and whatever. And that level of energy, I was able to put it out there. So that helped a lot. And then I was able to find someone who was down and, you know, accomplish it, which to me was upset because during March, my house was getting renovated. So I had a hotel. So part of me didn't want to be in the car. Part of me wanted to go invite the person to the hotel, but the person just wanted to do the car. So I was like, all right, let's just explore. So I did that. And it was just like, wow, like this was something I've always wanted to do during college, but I was too busy and whatnot. So I was able to venture in something like that.
Well, I'm congratulations on your achievement.
Thank you.
As interesting as it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's.
I guess. Yeah. All right. For me, I nothing that interesting, unfortunately.
It's okay.
I've only accomplished creating my next Skillshare class.
That's nice.
Yeah, there was like a teacher challenge for Skillshare, and they had a deadline of April 3rd, I think. So the month of March, I was just like, yo, let's just make a Skillshare class because we haven't made one since I think it was October or November. So I really geared up and just made a course about all the microphone types and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very interesting process because most of my other courses are about like programs like Adobe Audition, Adobe, just Adobe stuff and the whiteboard program and stuff like that. So it's like screen recordings all around versus this time where I had to film myself like a lot and also film like a lot of B-roll for the microphones and whatnot.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like so much to keep track of, like a lot of different files, a lot of like ways of like filming something. Like, do you film it all microphones at once, or do you film it by the lessons, you know, in terms of the shot list, film by location? Like, what do you do, right? There's just so many ways of doing things that I never really had to think about until this course. So it took about 3 weeks and 68 hours. I'm a very obsessively organized person. So
yes.
I keep track of how long I've done things and also like what days I've done it and also like what I did. So the split was right around, I think, 16 hours of scripting and outlining, and then 20 hours of filming, and then 32 hours of editing.
Wow.
So yeah, hopefully I got that right. But either way, it was a lot of work, but I was glad that I got it done and I was generally happy with it. It's kind of fast. Like whenever I go off of scripts, I just like voice over and talk off the script, and it's very, very concisely made. Like I always script things and then redraft it to make it more concise.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty like quick like course, but it was good that I got it done before the deadline. And I even got like an extra $75 for just like participating in the Slack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and just like giving advice and whatnot in terms of like my production process. So I wasn't expecting that, but it was nice.
That's crazy. I'm curious, is this like the biggest project you've done so far?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what do you mean by that? Like,
I guess in terms of making like a class and making like a whole like lesson tutorial, like I guess in terms of effort, honestly. Like,
effort. Oh, okay.
Effort.
Good question. I'm not sure. Maybe it's certainly up there, but I feel like I've done harder things because you know how like when you know how to do something, you just sort of got to do it and put in the hours, right?
Yeah.
I think it's harder to do something new, like completely new, and you don't know the process and then try to figure it out, even if it takes slightly less time. I feel like the cover project that I did in February for Grand Escape from the movie Weathering With You, I felt like that was harder because I just did not know what I was doing.
Okay.
Even though it took less hours, it was harder to enter flow. And for me, during the month of March, I was almost entirely in flow in the last like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like constant work. And I sort of found out that, at least for me, I can only enter that state if I know the process very well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have to like stop and then look up a tutorial on how to do something, and then again keep stopping and looking stuff up. I can't enter flow that way. So this was I learned some things basically, and it was a good project to sort of get some momentum again, so I can sort of keep doing the Skillshare stuff. Because at the moment, it's like the latest payment was like $350 about for that month.
Dang.
And you know I haven't touched Skillshare since like I said around November. So it's cool that you just get that amount each month without doing anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
So if I just keep spamming classes, of course I'm going to make it as best as possible. But if I keep spamming classes, then hopefully I can get up to 1,000 a month. That's my goal at the moment.
Okay, that's a good goal. Yeah.
But,
I mean,
yeah. So last month was basically just, you know, trying to reach, or trying to make stuff to reach that goal.
Yeah, I was gonna make a point about the flow thing. Like, I don't know anybody who can get in flow by learning something just new. Like they just, I'm learning something new, and they can just get in that flow state. I feel like the way the flow state works, it's just you doing those habits over again, and then it's to the point where it becomes what they call unconscious competence, right?
Yeah. That's what I suspect as well. But the reason I say for myself is because I like putting that clarification or qualifier just because maybe there exists someone out there that can, you know?
That's
so
fair.
I don't want to, I don't ever, I'm a very careful person when it comes to words.
That's true.
In terms of logic.
Yeah.
Not careful in terms of like, I don't want to hurt your feelings type of thing. More like, I don't want to say something that's wrong in terms of incorrectness and truth. So maybe someone out there can enter that flow state while learning, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can empathize with that with words. Like I've always tried to avoid using absolutes And like I never say always and never, because there's always exceptions to the rule. So that's the thing. And it gets to a point where now I get annoyed when people say absolutes, because I'm like, bro.
Exactly.
Like I have to call them out and say, don't say that. You're creating a framework where.
Yeah, dude. Literally, so many people around me say it, and I hate the fact that I feel in my heart, in my brain, that I just have to correct them. I don't want to, you know. Sometimes I feel like it's better if I just let this go, but I can't. I just have to. It just feels so wrong to hear it, you know.
Yeah.
And then to let them continue to believe that, because like, sure, maybe they know that it's not true in the absolute sense, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that they keep saying it allows this subconscious thought in their head to almost take over on occasions where maybe they don't have full consciousness, like stupid moments, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so it's sort of, I don't know, it's just sort of something in me that I have to do. I'm glad you do it too.
Yeah,
so.
I do that just because a lot of times it's usually because of limiting beliefs. Like I have this, speaking about March, I had this one friend who I guess because of what happened, he doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. But basically, like we were trying to help him get over his social anxiety, because we were like, okay, you feel nervous around people, so we're just getting you to talk to people. And we just made like a small little challenge where it's like, hey, all right, just go to that person, give them a compliment, ask them how's their day, and then like walk away, right? And that was kind of the challenge. And to some degree, there is a little bit, what makes it even challenging for him is that he does have, I think it's called Asperger's. He's been diagnosed with that. But at the same time, he's still able to like, he knows how to talk, he knows how to have a conversation. So it's not like he's like super disabled. But the point is, I think going back to the whole quote unquote absolutes, is sometimes he always says, oh, it's never going to work. People just hate me. Everyone likes me. No one likes me. All this stuff. Like he says it's over. It's pointless. And it's like this, whenever I hear never, it's like, never say never. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like, you don't know, like you got to try. You have to do stuff like that. So for me, whenever I hear it, it's like, your mindset, I don't like, even if it is quote unquote true or accurate, it's still a limiting mindset because you don't know your potential, and you always want to be in I believe you always want to be in your best potential.
Yeah. That's a good perspective. That's certainly something I can get behind. Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I look at it. So that's the reason why I hate it. Not to mention, I always find that when people use it, it's usually manipulative. You always hear like, oh, these Republicans, they're all like this, they're all like that. It always sounds like something like someone's trying to push an agenda. So I'm like, I'm against all political agendas whatsoever. So
yeah.
But yeah.
We talked about events from the month. We talked about accomplishments. Is there anything like, I guess, you want to change for next month that, you know, you just want to improve in general?
One habit I've been doing this month that I want to continue and improving is this habit of, number one, pushing myself, but number two, not feeling embarrassed about what I've done after. Because I feel like what I've learned a lot was one thing that's been holding me back in life is just shame. Like I've always had a strong shame growing up with my family and whatnot. And now I've realized that like, if I want to succeed somewhere, I can't just be embarrassed of or be ashamed of where I'm at. I have to be okay with it and then just continue to move forward and understand that, yeah, I'm going to make mistakes, but there's nothing embarrassing making mistakes as long as I learn to take productive action on it. So my goal next month is to continue keeping that consistent mindset of just pushing myself and not being ashamed of it, as well as like, again, recovering much better, of course. You know, hopefully I can eat some foods that I want to eat, because it sucks having my ice cream birthday cake that I can't eat at all, and it's just been there. And it's just
dude.
Like, it's like,
sucks,
bruh, it just hurts.
Dude, that's like my birthday last year. Remember how like I totally forgot that there was ice cream cake, and then like you helped out. You ate a little bit.
But the beauty part though, see, there's a difference between, and this is the thing about me, and that's one thing I also learned about last week, or even this whole situation, is like, there's one being like, I can do it, but I choose not to. It's two being, there's another being like, I can't do it at all. Like it's a disability. Because it's like, for me, like I'm okay of not having like food or junk food or any of that if it's a decision I personally made and said, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. But if it's a decision where it's like, if I do it, it's gonna, like, I have no choice, it makes it like, it limits my freedom, and I value freedom. So
yeah airbender.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, for me personally, I felt like last month's I did practice piano, and I don't really do much with music production other than collaborate with my friend.
Hmm.
But hopefully I can improve with that. I feel like I created basically a timesheet for my piano practice, which surprisingly I just never used before or never tried following one before. But I'm getting even more organized, basically. Like different facets of my life, I'm starting to create spreadsheets for, including exercise, which I've made like a couple of videos, like two videos where I just talk about my progress for that. But I find that it takes too much time to make those videos. Like it takes at least 2 to 3 hours just to make one of those videos, and I'm like, I could have just like trained harder during those 2 to 3 hours. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like there are certain things that I'm learning that I'm willing to do and not willing to do anymore based on like, I feel like back then, like me 2 to 3 years ago, I'm willing to make any video whatsoever. But me now, I'm like, is that video worth making in terms of like the amount of time I'm going to put into it? Because I do feel like going beyond last month, the past like years, I've spent a lot of time on video stuff, even though my passions lie in like music and piano, right? And I haven't really been doing enough for that. So I'm hoping I can at least scale or change that for next month. At the current moment, I think for piano practice, I'm only averaging about an hour a day, which is very little for my level. So I'm hoping I can increase that to around 2 hours per day, and actually do something with music this month, because I didn't really do anything last month. The main project was just Skillshare. That took up most of my time. But in terms of physical kinetic stuff, I call it kinetic because that's a cool word. I did improve some maxes. Like I can do you know what body rows are? Oh
no. Oh wait, kind of. But
it's just like
yeah.
Just imagine an opposite push-up. So instead of pushing the ground and then you going up, you're sort of pulling something and then you're going up, you know?
Oh, okay.
I do rings, so you just like hold onto the rings like that and then pull yourself up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got a new max for that, and also new max for pistol squats. New maxes for a lot of things actually. And I finally got back up to 15 pull-ups. It's been like since 2019 since I did 15 pull-ups.
Okay.
So overall my strength levels are increasing again. So that's the report for that series. I'm probably not going to do that series anymore. I'm probably just going to talk about it here. But I'll at least, my plan is essentially to just like create videos once I achieve something like a big goal, like doing a full planche basically. Yeah. So, and that probably will take a while. But yeah, I'll probably make scattered videos once in a while.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm curious. So was this also going to be part of Skillshare, your exercise treatment?
Nah, you cannot create courses on exercise. It's kind of funny though. I'm like, I think it would be cool to make something, you know, once I actually get a full planche or whatever skill, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I obviously can't put it on Skillshare, but I'll see what happens. I'm not a fan of making tutorials on YouTube, to be honest. Like I've made a lot on my Dreamlit channel, and some of them are reviews too. But in general, I don't find too much. There's not enough good feedback, positive feedback. It's just sort of like hit or miss. Some people watch it, some people don't. Some people find it useful, some people don't. But for me personally, I find it very boring to make. Like,
okay, I see.
Which is interesting because for Skillshare, I find it okay. Like I find it challenging to make a class, and that's the part that makes me feel like I'm having some fun making it. But the content itself isn't necessarily like super interesting. Or like it's not something that I would do continuously, you know what I mean? It's sort of like a one and done type of thing. Like I'll make a Skillshare class or course about Premiere Pro. That's my next one, and then I'm probably never going to talk about Premiere Pro again. Like that's just like the way I think. I'm like, dude, I already made like this definitive tutorial. I'm not going to keep making it. It's just, that seems so boring. And I applaud people who can do that. Like, you know, they are true business people. They're true like creators that are focused in a niche. But for me, I value like my passions and what I like doing way more than income, which can probably be a bad thing sometimes.
yeah, I think that's always been like a battle, and even with our channel, our Imagine Blue channel, that's sort of a challenge we have, where it's like we can make videos that are more appealing to the audience, but then if we don't enjoy it, we don't want to put the work for it. On the flip side, we make videos that we love, but then it's like we put in all this work and it's like,
not many people see it.
Yeah, not many people see it. So it's like, how do we find a balance where it's like it's something we enjoy, but it's also something that's also appealing to other people, so it's like a win-win. And I think, and I agree, like passion's always the biggest thing. Like you always want to make sure the passion is there first, because if you don't have a passion for it, it's there. I mean, at that point you kind of are like a robot just putting things out there. But at the same time, I mean, you never know. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when there's a money incentive, it does kind of motivate you as well. So I guess it depends on your overall goal, like, right?
Yo, that's the entire reason I'm on Skillshare. Like, I'm not doing it because I love making courses. I'm doing it because there's monetary like incentive.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I don't hate making courses, right? I just want to be clear. Like, it's not like I'm like sacrificing my mental and like I'm not like giving my soul to this work in terms of like living a hellish life or whatever. It's entertaining to make courses. It's just not my passion. That's just it, you know.
I see. Yeah.
Like teaching, I think teaching for me personally, I find it very intuitive because of how organized like my brain works.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see things, I cannot see things without organizing them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
So that lends itself to better methods of teaching, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've always, part of me is always jealous of how organized you are, because I'm like the opposite. I'm so disorganized. But I guess
I can't function without like all the things I've created, all the schedules and organizers and planners.
Yeah. But I think the only caveat, I mean, it's not a bad caveat, but I think the only caveat with being like really organized is like unpredictability must really make you feel anxious, because it's like when something goes unpredictable, it's like, but I schedule everything to go this thing at this time, whatever.
No,
so,
you just gotta be you just have to integrate flexibility into your schedule, right?
That's fair.
Because like I said, a lot of unexpected events happened last month in terms of like hangouts and whatnot. Like friends inviting me to things like somewhat last minute, like a day or two later, and I just gotta move it. I'm glad that I didn't sacrifice, like I'm glad I didn't say no, you know, because that's one thing. Like while creating my Skillshare classes, I went to help a friend at like a warehouse thing. I went to all the events that I went to, even though the deadline was coming up like super quick. I'm just like, I'm still gonna go because I value my friendships and family, and I'm not gonna miss it because I would have regretted it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a value system integrated with my planners, like just put the thing where you create these memories and moments with people first, then, you know, flexible work after.
Yeah.
That's the good side of like having work that you do that's like your work, right? Not necessarily like you going to work, but yeah, even though I still work part-time, but yeah. Yeah,
that's definitely the benefits on that. And that's something that, and again, that's something that I definitely aspire to do a little bit. It's, I guess for me, I'm going to figure out how this is going to work for me, but I guess the reason, part of me why I'm a little bit disorganized, whatever, goes back to my freedom spirit, where it's like part of me likes, there's a level of like, I find beauty within the mess, if that makes any sense. Or it's like, okay, what if I scatter all my ideas and then make them come together later on? But I'm definitely want to find a way where I can be more effective and organized with it, because I do feel like sometimes clarity wise, in terms of interpreting to other people, it might be like, to me, I can see some beautiful thing within the mess, but to other people, it's just mess. So it's like, I need to make sure the organizations to make sure there's a good communication.
Yeah, everybody functions in their own way. So
yeah,
and everyone learns differently too. So maybe my organized methods of teaching are not great for certain people, you know?
That's true. But so far they've been effective for me. Like that one time where you were showing me how to make for B-roll for Avatar, and you gave me that tutorial. I was like, wow, this is just even easier. And then even in that video, you had okay, here's an even faster way to do it, and even more faster way to do it. I'm like, Jesus, like,
yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day, I do value efficiency, because the older I get, the more I want to be more efficient with my work. So that's something that I've definitely value.
All right, well, that was quite a lot of stuff that we just talked about. Like, I don't want to make this too long as a first go around, but I personally enjoyed talking. I certainly learned things that happened to you that I didn't know happened before.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I learned some new things about you.
Yeah, well, thanks. Well, yeah, I do want to turn this into a recurring series, but I want to try more of these before I do that, you know, mainly because I've overpromised in the past with like different series that I've tried to make on YouTube, and I just discontinued them because like I said earlier, I just find it like, I find myself unwilling to spend that extra time in making it just because I don't feel strongly enough for it for the long term. Like maybe at the moment I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. Let me try it. And then this is one of those, like, this sounds like a great idea. Let me try it. I do enjoy it. And I think the fact that I'm bringing someone else on really, really helps because I'm playing on what I know I like. I enjoy conversations with other people, especially conversations where I get to catch up with a friend. I like reflecting a lot. That's something I do literally every day in my journal. And then I've been wanting to start a podcast, even though this is not the official start. Like maybe it can turn into one. And I do want to like have my friends on those podcasts, even though I mean, you happen to be a creator, but like a lot of my friends aren't necessarily creators, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I sort of want to do this more so for like having the memories as keepsakes, having the conversations as keepsakes, like and online and out there, just because I don't know, I like sharing basically. Yeah. And so I'm sort of throwing this stone and hoping I can hit as many birds as possible. And my final hope basically is that, you know, whoever's listening, I hope you guys can get something out of it. Like, please feel free to like reflect about your past month or anything like that and make comments or questions. And I'll try my best to read your comments and answer the questions. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.